Ms. Hatcher has been honored by the White House as one of the top 100 entrepreneurs under 30. My first business called Urban Excellence when I was a 19-year-old college student, had no idea what I was doing. But I knew I had those Girl Scout cookie selling skills, right? Of just kind of figuring things out, because that's what we do, right? We have something that we're passionate about, and we've been equipped with the tools in order to figure it out. To tap into what we're curious about and make things happen, right? Turn our passion into profit or turn our passion into change. It was an educational consulting company called Urban Excellence. And at 19 years old, companies like DeVry University and the Urban League were hiring me to put together their college prep programs at 19. My dorm room phone, since myself and my roommate didn't use it, instead of it saying, hey, this is Felecia and Kate's room, said, this is Urban Excellence. I used and abused the things that were available to me on my college campus. I started my first business at 19. I ended up working for Nintendo and Sony and the NBA, some really, really cool jobs. But in 2008, you guys know what happened to the
Hi, my name is Jordan Felecia, and I thought she was amazing. She had a really good interactive project, and she just really made the audience laugh, and she moved the audience, and that was really, really cool. And I would love to hear more of her speaking because she was really relatable, and that's something that a lot of girls liked, and I liked too.
Can I get everyone to say Girl Scouts rock on 3? Can you guys do that for me? Yep. Ready? 1, 2, 4. Just kidding. 1, 2, 3.
Girl Scouts rock!
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me here as your keynote speaker today. I am so excited. One reason I'm excited is I taught my mom how to use her iPhone just a few days ago. And luckily I did because she was able to send me some pictures of me as a Girl Scout. Are you guys ready for those? Yeah. You want to see what that looks like? Yeah. I'm going to date myself a little bit. Let's see. Look at that. Can you believe that? That was like 20 or something years ago. I'm the chief popsicle of a company called Feverish Ice Cream and Gourmet Pops in Miami. But before all that, I was a Girl Scout. And I get asked all the time through media interviews and people, how did you get started? Like, you must have had a lemonade stand when you were a kid, right? Or an ant farm or sold newspapers. Like, what did you do? I was like, I didn't have any of those things, but I sold the heck out of Girl Scout cookies. That is what I did. That was my start. I was just at the White House on Wednesday for being awarded as the Champion of Change for STEM access and diversity, and they asked me what was my start into STEM fields. What was your start? And I said, one, it was watching MacGyver. Some of the adults know what I'm talking about. No idea. Right, but just the craftiness of how you figure things out. Right, that allowed me, one of my first projects, and my parents would allow me to have a TV in my room. The only TV that was in our home had cable and it was in the living room. I saved up all my money, my allowance money, and I bought my own television. But there was a problem. I didn't have cable. I'm like, this is a problem. I have to figure this out. And what I did was, on a Saturday when my parents were busy doing whatever, I figured out how to rewire the cable to my room. My dad wasn't too happy about that, but using my skills from Girl Scouts and watching MacGyver gave me the idea that I could do whatever I wanted to do.
All right.
Like rewire cable. Who does that at like 8 years old but me? But ladies, I can't stress enough how amazing your bios are. Oh my gosh. I thought my bio was crazy. I spent a few days reading each and every one of you guys, and I'm so proud of you. Give yourselves a round of applause. So what I want to do today is actually share a few stories with you. I'm going to tell you a little bit of what my life was like after Girl Scouts. If you could major or minor in anything, I majored and minored in the 2 B's in high school. Anyone want to take a guess? two B's. Not exactly biology. I'm kind of tall. Basketball was one. And boys was the other. I was 14 years old, and unfortunately I had crazy priorities.
My name is Nia Allen, and I am here at the Gold Award ceremony. I thought that Felicia's speech was very motivational and it was very uplifting because it helped me think about the many possibilities of pushing forward and keeping going with my passions and what I enjoy to do.
As much as I like to talk about my success, I also like to talk about my failures. Because I think that's where we really find the strength. And everyone's sharing what their failure story is. A few years into starting Feverish, I actually ran out of money. And most entrepreneurs don't like to tell that story. You think of the entrepreneur magazines, they like to kind of share the story of the overnight sensation, right? They started today and then they sold their company to Facebook for $16 billion. And it doesn't always happen like that. And when we're talking about you ladies turning your passion into profit and you're moving on to amazing careers and even starting businesses and nonprofit organizations, sometimes you're going to stumble. But you have to understand that it's a part of the process, and you really truly have to trust the process. I was getting ready to leave Feverish because I completely ran out of money, and two things happened to me. One, I went to tell my parents, like, hey, I'm going to give this up. This is just not working. I can't even pay myself. It's just gotten really bad. I made some bad decisions with my business. And my dad said to me, Felecia, if you leave this business, you're never coming back. At the time, there was a company that wanted to pay me a crazy amount of money to go around the country promoting cheese. I said, do you really want to promote cheese? And he said, if you leave this business, you're never coming back. And he said, what you're going through is hard, but you'll get over this. You just have to keep going. And he said, wow, you ran your business into a few $1,000s in debt. At one point in time, I ran my business into a few $100,000s in debt. And he said, when you get to my point, then you can talk about quitting. But other than that, you need to go out there and sell some popsicles. But I needed to hear that. I needed someone else to be vulnerable with me. I needed to understand that I'm not alone in this process. I need to understand that failure gives us strength in order to keep going. And I ended up keep going. The same 2 weeks before that, I got a phone call from someone. It was almost 5 o'clock and we were getting ready to close up the shop. And the phone rings. And this person's like, I want to know, what time do you guys close? I'm like, we close in about 15 minutes, but if I know that you're coming, I will definitely stay here for you. He's like, okay, I'm getting ready to get discharged from the hospital. I'll be right there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what kind of hospital is he getting discharged from? I got a little worried at that point. And a few minutes later, about 10 minutes later, a car pulls up, and this guy pops out with his wife and his sister. And I look, and he has the bands on, so I'm like, okay, this is legit. He really did get discharged from the hospital. But still, like the hospital, I don't know that. And he gets out, and he says, I have been in the hospital for the past few weeks because I had a lung transplant and a heart transplant. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he said, while I was in the hospital, you came on the TV, your story. And I told myself if I made it out of surgery, that you were the first person that I wanted to meet. And remember, at this point, I was going through it. Business-wise, I just couldn't get it together. I wanted to quit. And he said, and I'm thinking to myself, if I had just went through major surgery, I don't know if ice cream would have been my first stop. But it literally brought me to tears thinking that I impacted someone so much with what I was doing. I didn't think that popsicles did that much, right? A lot of times we're doing the work and we don't understand that people are always watching us, right? They are always watching what we're doing. And the work that each and every one of you ladies are doing has an impact that you'll never get a chance to see. It spreads so far out to so many people, whether you've impacted them directly or someone was just watching the good deeds that you were doing. And I sat with the guy for a while, his name is Charles, and we sat and had ice cream, and we're like Facebook buddies now, and we stay in contact all the time. I want to share another picture with you guys and tell you about this story. This is Ori. Say hi to Ori.
Hi, Ori.
When I was reading the bios of all the amazing work that you ladies were doing, two of your projects really stuck out to me. Teresa Daugherty's project, and that's also Angela Bermudez. Ori was born premature. Ori was born at 1.4 pounds. Ori is my daughter. And the night that she was born, the doctors actually told us to go into the NICU as much as we can because they didn't think that she was going to make it. And the second day that I went into the NICU, a nurse said to me, I was sitting there frantic, didn't know what to do. It wasn't expected. She just came too early. And I'm sitting there in the NICU, and a nurse comes up to me and she says, "You have a daughter? Is that a girl?" Because they all kind of look alike when they're young. And she's like, "You have a daughter, she's going to be just fine." She's like, "I worked in the NICU for years, and girls do so much better than boys." We actually call them wimpy boys. She's like, "The fact that you have a daughter, and yes, she was born early, and yes, she's so tiny, and there's so many things that are plugged up to her, but girls do just fine." I want you guys, ladies, to think about that for a minute. When we are the smallest person on this earth, when we have all the cards stacked against us, we are predisposed to fights, right? We are predisposed to be warriors. Let's clap for that. Something in us is just built to last, right? What is that? War that says that? We're just built to last. So then when you think of our ladies that have low self-esteem and we doubt ourselves and we're trying to figure out how to lean in, you think about Ori, right? And you think about all the other girls that are like her. And understand that you have a power in you that is unmeasurable. You ladies are rock stars, right? And you were born to be rock stars. Again, with reading the bios of Teresa and Angela, although I wasn't here in Georgia, I was one of those moms that would walk in and there was a blanket that was over my daughter's isolette, or there was a new toy there, or there was a really cool name tag that had flowers and all these things for my daughter. Or the fact that I had a popsicle business, someone would take my daughter's footprint and put a little popsicle on, stick on it, and send it to me. I was one of those moms that you affected with your business and your passion and your projects. I was one of those moms that sat in the NICU day in and day out, sitting with my daughter. And the fact that any little thing that you do, because a lot of times when we think about service projects and wanting to help people, there's so many problems in this world. And there's so much work that needs to be done in order to fix those problems. But it starts with a very small step by an individual. And yes, maybe it's only one person that you help, or two people that you help. But that lasts a lifetime. I will never forget the young girls that were donating those things to us moms and dads in the NICU. So I commend you ladies for the amazing work that you do. Give yourselves a round of applause again.
Felecia, definitely helped me see that there is no giving up and there's only up from here.